going on, guys? Billy here, and today I want to answer a question that I've gotten a lot over the past couple of months, and that is, can the DJI Mavic 2 Pro be used for commercial drone work? The short answer, yes, although it is a little bit limiting, so you're not going to see a Mavic 2 Pro on, say, a professional movie set, and also, it's not going to be good for any type of thermal work, as that standard RGB camera on the bottom only shoots color photos. So over the past year, I have turned to 3 different drones for commercial use, shooting real estate, construction, and for inspections. And they are the DJI Inspire 2, the DJI Phantom 4 Pro, and now the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. What's crazy is that between these drones, they are all different sizes, but they all have cameras that essentially rock the same specs. The Inspire is in a different category as it has the swappable cameras, but the Zenmuse X4S features a 1-inch sensor that can shoot 20 megapixel photos and 4K video, which is the same as the new DJI Mavic 2 Pro. The biggest difference between these drones is their size. The portability of the Mavic series is great for travelers going on vacation, but has been my go-to for inspections. An average day of work for me can consist of 4 or 5 roof inspections, which means I've got to bounce around to different locations around my city, packing up my gear, resetting up my gear, and using a small drone like the Mavic 2 Pro has been a godsend because all I've got to do is show up, unfold my drone, turn it on, put it on the ground, set up my remote controller, and I'm in the air in under a minute. Another great thing is I can use the car charger inside of my truck to charge up all of the batteries, and honestly they charge pretty quickly. I'd say in about 40 minutes. So as long as you've got those batteries on cycle and you've got like 3 with you, you'll be good for the day. Now getting back to the camera, I quickly want to show you some image comparisons between the Zenmuse X4S from the Inspire 2, the Phantom 4 Pro, and the Mavic 2 Pro, taken from the same shoot on the same day, hovering in the same location in the air. Again, all these cameras more or less have the same specs, which would make it a no-brainer to use the smaller Mavic 2 Pro, although I find myself using the Inspire most of the time just because of the raw power. I would also say that even the original Mavic Pro could be used in a lot of scenarios for commercial work, but what I've noticed is that some clients require you to use a drone that has a camera that can take 20 megapixel photos or greater. That's where these smaller drones like the Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro would be no good, as their smaller sensors can only take 12 megapixel photos. Alright, so now that you've had some time to take a look at these photos, I want to put them side by side. They're totally unedited, and I bet that if I didn't tell you which photo was taken with which drone, you'd probably have a hard time guessing them correctly. Also, I just want to mention that most of these photos are underexposed. I had to try to balance my exposure for the very bright white roof that I was expecting, but also I like to underexpose my photos just a little bit, which is a good practice when editing raw photos and then delivering those edited photos to your clients. Now the same thing has to do with video. This is taken with the Mavic 2 Pro shot in the D-Log M color profile and then color graded. It looks perfect to me, and if you were to deliver this to a client looking to monitor progress of a job or sell a house, if we're talking real estate, they would be happy with the quality 7 days a week, no questions asked. Even for inspection purposes, if you just say shot in the normal color profile and didn't color grade it, it would look totally usable. So with the most important feature of any drone being used for commercial work being the camera, I would say that the Mavic 2 Pro is up to par in terms of industry standards. There are also a ton of features that make this drone perfect for commercial work, with one of them being how much noise the actual drone makes during flight. The Mavic 2 Pro is insanely quiet, to the point where if I'm at 100 feet in the air, it would be tough to hear unless I'm ripping through the air at 45 miles per hour. Here, take a listen for yourself. The reason that this is so great is because when you're up in the air, you won't be disturbing neighbors or homeowners or, say, workers that are on the ground. You know, I've got a funny story surrounding this subject. So those photos that you guys saw during the image comparison, I was at that same site about 2 or 3 months ago when roofing construction was actually going on at the time. So I was taking some progressional photos. When I was finished, I came down, landed my Inspire 2, I began to pack up, and a police officer rolled up behind me. I figured he was doing a patrol. I really didn't pay much attention to it, but he sat there for 5 or 10 seconds. I turned around, I asked him if he was there for me, to which he responded yes. So I walked up to his car, I gave him my information, I gave him my little Part 107 card, and I gave him also my employer's information. Everything was fine, everything checked out. We began to talk about drones a little bit. I think he had a Mavic Pro of his own. So he was a really cool guy. He went off in his way, I went off on my way. But the moral of the story, if I used a smaller drone like the Mavic 2 Pro, the police officer probably wouldn't have had to show up. Instead, I was using my really big, loud Inspire 2. You could hear that thing easily at 400 feet in the air. And I'm not necessarily saying that I wanted to do it in secret, but I probably wouldn't have alerted anybody if, again, I was using a smaller drone that was quieter. Along with being one of the quietest drones that DJI sells, it's also one of the longest lasting as it can stay in the air for 31 minutes. There's a lot of drones that have the sub 30-minute flight time like the Phantom 4 Pro as well as the original Mavic Pro, but with the Mavic 2 Pro, I'd say it's a pretty significant upgrade, bumping it over 30 minutes. If you're going to be doing like 1 or 2 flights a day, you won't notice all that much of a change, but if you're like me and you're doing 4, 5, sometimes 6 flights a day, 6 different jobs, it really can add up. Another area where I find it to be a big change, a big help, honestly, is for mapping, because you're going to have your drone up in the air for sometimes 2 or 3 hours at a time, only to come down to swap batteries, and it really does make the difference when it can stay in the air for longer. So the camera on the Mavic 2 Pro is great. It's an incredibly quiet drone, and also it can stay in the air for a respectable amount of time. So it probably sounds like the perfect commercial drone, especially if you're just going to be starting off, but it's got one thing against it, and that is its size. Now I know in the beginning I credited its size for, say, roof inspections, and if you've got them daily, it's easy to set up, it's easy to break down, it's easy to travel with, but if you show up with that small drone, you might not be taken seriously. Let's say you pull up to a job and you take out a massive case from a company like GPC, and inside is the Inspire 2 with its wide squatting stance, its large camera mounted under the body, and its big, powerful motors. You're going to look like you mean real business. On the other hand, if you just take out your Mavic 2 Pro from your backpack, unfold its small legs and propellers, set up the small remote, and then ultimately take off with a drone that is super quiet, they really might not take you all that seriously. It's happened to me before, and I'm sure some of you have been in a similar situation. I show up and I pull out my Inspire 2, and whoever I'm with, whether it's a client or a friend, go, "Oh my God, that thing is huge. It looks like a helicopter." Whereas if I were to say pull out the Mavic 2 Pro, maybe the Mavic 2 Zoom, someone's reaction would be like, "Oh, look at how small the thing is. It's kind of cute." Now, between you and I who are familiar with drones, we know that the Mavic 2 Pro is a very capable aircraft. It's actually able to handle some really heavy workloads, but to the average person who doesn't know all that much about drone technology, they're going to think that bigger is better, and in certain scenarios that is the case, but the Mavic 2 Pro really is a little incredible drone. Now, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. It's something I like to do on my commercial shoots. When I show up for the first time, I like to use my Inspire 2, sort of wine and dine the client, show them how big the drone is, what it can do, read them off some of the specs, and then on future shoots I say, "Hey, I got this new smaller little drone, I'm gonna try it out. I'll send you the photos once I'm finished, and if you guys are unsatisfied, I'll be sure to go back with my bigger drone and reshoot them for you." And most of the time I send it to them and they go, "Wow, these photos look great. They actually look better than your bigger drone. Can you continue to use this one?" Which blows my mind. Now, I'm in a very fortunate situation where I have these multiple drones to use and test out. So some of you might only have one to choose, and if that's the case, and if you're, say, on a budget, the Mavic 2 Pro might be the move, just because it's only $1,500 compared to $4,100 with the base Inspire 2. I want to take a step back really quickly and go over that price one more time. I said that it is only $1,500, which might seem like a lot of money to someone who doesn't even have a drone yet or is just flying a Spark at the moment, but you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. It's got a great camera, it's got great battery life, everything about the drone is just great, and it is perfect for starting off in the commercial space. I would say, again, emphasis on perfect, because you get a drone that's able to meet that 20 megapixel threshold. A lot of these clients are looking for, like people who are looking for inspections or real estate shoots, and also you're getting a drone that is best in class. Again, I talked about size, but that's something that you can really kind of disprove if you're going to be shooting great photos and great videos, because whatever the client says, as long as you deliver a good product to them, they're going to give you the okay on the drone. Also, I think batteries are only like $139 or $140, so you could easily pick up 3 extras, have 4, and then again grab that car charger and just charge in the car all day long, and you will be set. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you think about the Mavic 2 Pro down in the comment section below. Do you think that it's good for commercial use? I really want to stray you guys towards the Mavic 2 Pro and not the Mavic 2 Zoom. It's only like $250 or $300 more expensive, but it definitely is worth it for that camera, because you're going to produce much better images for these clients you work for, and at the end of the day, it's all going to pay off. Anyway, guys, again, let me know what you think down in the comments, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.